Da-na-na-na-na-na. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. All right. This is how we do it. I like the blue things right now. Van Graceland, hello. Oh, what's up, Soulful City? Hello. Vic, welcome. Vic Vic 05624. What's up, friends? How we doing today? Good morning. It's 9 a.m. Well, it's just about 9 a.m. in Maui, Hawaii. Go ahead and let me know where you're tuning in from if you feel like it. And if you're brand new to this live, we basically talk about human design and geek out about concepts the entire time. You're very welcome to ask questions. Hello from Utah. Hello from Florida. 1 p.m. in Utah. Man, I did a session with my buddy. Uh, was it last night? Last night he's in Bulgaria right now, and they're like a full 24 hours ahead, and that will always just like not freak me out, but it's wild that some people are technically living in the future. Very interesting. It's very interesting. Hello from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hello, Tashina Shanae. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Obviously, I'm blind. Is he? How do you say it? Bilgy? Bilgy Dolphin? Time is an illusion. Maybe. I'm not sure. Hello from Ethiopia. Oh, what's up, Ethiopia? Luna Kai. Great name. Great name. Welcome, everyone. If you're not already familiar with human design, by the way, don't feel overwhelmed because there's sometimes concepts that I go into during these lives that are, if you don't know about human design, it can be harder to follow along. But also, I do my best to um, make human design digestible. Like human design is this whole system and this whole language of like essentially it's a system of like viewing metaphysical transformation and alchemical processes. So it's one of those things that, like a language, the more you use it, the more you hear it, the more you talk about it, the more you expose yourself to it, the more you study it, the better you get at it. And then you can have more fluent conversations. And one of the things that I'm so excited about with human design is just the reality that like we can really get on the same page um, when it comes to the language that we're using around energy. And that's one of the things I love about this system. And as you can see behind me, this is the body graph, right? This body graph right here is this is the body graph of a generator. It's a generator because of the sacral, and it's a emotional authority generator because of this solar plexus right here. So um, I do know it. I've been working on it for 2.5 months. Awesome. So yeah, and even like I would say if you're under a year and a half in your experiment, you're still new to human design. Like you've only been using human design for like, even if you've been using human design for a year, to me, you're still new to it. Because again, there are a lot of things in terms of like things that you need to know in terms of like language, like that's the G center, that's the throat, that's is where manifestation happens, that's the heart center, it's defined, etc. There's a lot of that, but there's a lot more being alive and knowing what like your signature feels like contrasted with your not self. So in human design, the signature of this being would be satisfaction, right? They'd be a being that was very in tune with all these colored in centers. Like they were able to resource sacral energy, root pressure, splenic awareness, emotions, and ego from themselves. And then in these white centers, these are kind of like the sponges or the microphones, you know, much more fluid with their expression, their ways of thinking, their identity, and their direction. And if this person follows two simple things, human design is just two simple things, strategy and authority. And you'll it's like a broken record, but it's so helpful because human design can get so heady and so wild. Um, Vic, thank you so much for sharing the live. I'm seeing you share this like a lot. If you guys are enjoying this, something that I'm getting better at is inviting you guys to contribute to the live just by tapping the screen, making these little hearts appear here. That helps so much. It makes this number go up, and the higher that number goes, the better we're gonna rank in terms of everyone that's going live. And maybe some people will see this live and learn about human design because of you contributing or sharing it. And you know, hopefully people will at least my goal is to give everyone at least a chance to learn this stuff, because there's a lot to it, but at the same time it's very simple. Like when you're learning a language for the first time, you really just have to learn like a handful of things, like how do I get to this place, or thank you, or no, or yes. And with human design, again, it's two things: it's strategy and authority. I'm single. I'm assuming you were talking about definition, because if you're single and you're looking for a match, the app that I'm partnered with, Neutrino Design, you can see the image behind me. Um, if you download the app, there's a weekly connection service, so it'll match you up with somebody new every week, and it can be business oriented, friendship oriented, or romance oriented. And it's just it would be up in the corner over there. Um, but yeah, that is you know, one of the benefits of learning about human design in 2024 is that we have really powerful software that's very accessible, right? This Neutrino Design, the app, the subscription is like $26 for the entire year. If you want like normal human design, like mybodygraph.com type stuff, the max, like to get all of the features on, and theirs is a web application, ours is a mobile application, but it costs like $1,000 a year, which is a lot and it's worth it. But a lot of that is also in neutrino design. So anyway, what types complement each other well? Projectors and generators, and provided, mind you, this like it's not like, oh, you have the circuitry, so you guys are going to get along well. It's also about how like well does this person embody their circuitry, or how well do they manifest their signature? Because there's plenty of people out there that do not embody their design well, and they do not manifest their signature. They're constantly frustrated or angry. So number one, someone that's in their signature will typically get along with other people that are in their signature. But in terms of not necessarily compatibility but dynamic, like having a generator and a projector together is insane. It's super powerful, same as having a manifester and a reflector together. Now romantically, um again, it's really about so, like for instance, they're called electromagnetic channels. So if you have this 12 and then your other person has the 22, the more of those that you have, the more opportunities for like collaboration and chemistry, etc. Soulful Sadie, thank you for sharing the live with 10 friends. That's awesome. What do I think about the manifesting generator? I think manifesting generators are I've seen a lot of them think that they're crazy. Like I think a lot of manifesting generators think that they're crazy because um, there's just so much going on, and it can be challenging to keep up with all of it. So that's what I think. But I think they're also brilliant when it comes to when it comes to when they actually like allow themselves to be in the and it is chaos, but it's more so just like the muchness of going on, because that is um that is on what do you call it, the manifesting generator is like a generator with a manifested channel. So they have a sacral right here, but then one of these motors, there's four motors, one of those motors is connected to the throat. And so generally speaking, you have this aura as a manifesting generator that's just enveloping and bringing things to you. But then you also have moments where it's like, oh, let's bring that to us as well, or let's move in that direction as well. So it's kind of like one of these situations. Whereas generator aura, it's more so just like respond one thing at a time, and it seems to be pretty linear, is what I've noticed with generators. And with manifesting generators, it's a lot less linear, so it can be more volatile. I have the 3420. Yeah, that's like the manifester channel. That's this one going from that's empowering, basically connecting your glutes to your vocal cords and your throat, which is a really cool perspective on here, because everyone has this channel, but it's not defined in everyone, right? So everywhere you see white on the body graph, this is undefined centers. These are places where, you're not going to get like a consistent voice or a consistent way of thinking or consistent thoughts or a consistent direction. And nor should you be, because that is what that's how you were designed. Um, can you sing? I can sing, actually. I love singing. I was just singing last night. I did sing on one of these lives, but this is more so about the mission. Wreck It Jeff, high and low tide today. I saw you say something that you lost a dog, or you're not don't have your dog. No service animal, Mary. All right. Well, blessings up to Mary. Welcome back to Maui, my friend. Am I Native American? Looks so unhealthy. It looks so healthy. I'm blind. No, I'm not Native American. I mean, I'm Mexican, so there's definitely like a lot of native blood in me. I'm also Filipino. Those are my primary ethnicities. Filipino, Mexican, German, Spanish, and Filipino, which I said Filipino. Which the hair is actually pretty healthy. It could use a brush. It's really long. Um, I don't know. Do you guys remember when your hair was when you were a kid and your hair was like you just like you could like run your fingers through it every other week and it would be fine. And then at some point I turned like into an adult. I think it was like 24 or something like that. And then my hair just would just get so freaking matted up and dreadlocked out and all that stuff. Anyway, so what are third and fourth symbols in the personal design? So third and fourth, so these are north nodes. That they'll be on the same on that side. So north node and south node. So the south node, which is the bottom one, this is kind of about like if you were to look behind you and track how you got to where you got, this would be the access point. And then this one right here, if you look forward and see kind of like what gate you're moving into, that would be this one. So for me, for instance, gate 45 is the gatherer, is like the ruler in a lot of ways. And moving from that, moving away from how you say, um, like being the last voice of manifestation, and then moving towards gate 26, which is right down here, which is more so about like taming power of the great. So it's like this will to um, tame the power of the great, or to become one that is considered the best or top of their game. So when I look at that with my personality, because all of this stuff on this personality side, like I'm looking at that to understand the architecture of my mind. Whereas if I were to look over here, right, north node is 11, south node is 12 for me, right? Like, and if you were to look here, 12 is caution, social caution. So I'm moving away from social caution, and then I'm moving towards 11 right there, which is kind of like this anxiety about stimulation and new ideas. And so, looking at that at myself, and again, this is a lot of this stuff is very I don't say arbitrary, but to be honest, like you know, you as human beings, we can resonate with anything. You can resonate with an egg. Someone's like, "Oh, you're an egg." And you're like, "Wow, that resonates so much." It's not so much about resonating with this chart so much as seeing like where does that show up, right? Like how can I track that in my life? Where does that show up? What are the most important aspects of us when we learn through human design? So, primary things you want to learn. First thing is type, and for Lush Puppy 808, if you go to the link in my bio, you can generate a body graph. It's free. You can also download this app, which if you find like, oh, you're interested in this, download this app. It's only 26 bucks for the entire year. Do it through the link in my bio though. It's called Neutrino Design, but if you do it through the link in my bio, you get 25% off the subscription. And it's the same app. It's a full app. So with that, look it up here. Yeah, you don't Google human design. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but if you Google human design, you might land on somebody's website who's gonna like sell you like a $200 report, and it's not gonna be as good as the one that I'm gonna sell you for 35 bucks. Anyway, everything is available via the link in my bio or reikimarco.com. Again, you can get this app on that website as well, and generate your chart. You need your birthday, birth time, etc. So now, main things. First thing you need to do is figure out what type you are. That's going to determine your strategy, which is going to teach you how best to use um, basically your aura, your energetic field. The third thing you're going to learn about is your inner authority, which is going to help you track where you are. And then the fourth thing that you're going to do is you're going to start to learn about these centers. Now, I have reports on my website that you can buy. There's a $20 one and a $35 one. They're going to tell you literally about all of this stuff. I'm just saying for the chart, not report. Yours is relatively way cheaper. Yeah. And again, and the reason I say that as well, though, is that don't just go on any human design website, is because not everyone uses the same calculations to generate charts. Like there's Cosmic Human Design makes sidereal modifications to human design chart calculations, which totally messes up. Cosmic Human Design is not. It's not. It's like a bastardization of human design. Gene Keys is, I would say, more so legit. But human design, not all the people that are generating charts are doing it the right way. So this is one platform that I found that does it the right way. So again, just important to get the right information. And that's available on my website. So H Design. Yeah, so human design. And it's like I think it's a really cool name because I've always seen the human body and particularly movement and the way we physically move as something super important. What's up, Adrian? Got like some of my loyal um, audience over here on YouTube. What's up, guys? We're on YouTube and TikTok, which this is week 3 of going live on YouTube and TikTok. And thank you, Soulful Sadie. I was just about to say, if you guys are enjoying the live, again, you're welcome to ask questions. This is just kind of free for all. Tap the screen for me so we can get this number up. If we get this number up, basically more people will see this live in their For You feed. And yeah, it'll be awesome because more people will be learning about human design. What do you think about Parker's study about human design? Human design. I don't know about Parker's study. I'm gonna look into it though. Can I just Google it? Parker's study. Oh, you talking about Karen Curry Parker? Like quantum human design? Is that what you mean? I imagine so. So there's a woman named Karen Curry Parker who created a system called quantum human design that is essentially human design with like fluffy language, is the way I see it. Um, it's one that is has been made more accessible to a certain type of person. I'm just not that type of person. Um, yeah, I think the language is fluffier. I think they're in the original human design. I can share you the report on email if you would like. Yes, Karen Curry Parker. Um, yeah, no, I don't think you don't need to share it with me. Um, I know who she is, and I appreciate her perspective on human design. One thing I like about her is that they didn't necessarily, at least to my understanding, they didn't um I guess change the way that they calculated their charts. But again, what they did was they just made the language more like they don't call projectors projectors, they call them like directors or something like that. Again, it's like a way of making it less sharp. Thank you for being thank you for appreciating my mindfulness. And I'm not trying to hate on it, but it's like a translation for, yeah, and again, it's like very flowery language. It's a lot less triggering and sharp and activating. But I like it when it's triggering. Like that right there, this right there is called obstruction. This is called decrease, right? What else is there? Caution. And one of the things that I really appreciate about human design is that, sometimes in the I Ching or sometimes when you're doing spiritual stuff, you get these like you're gonna die or danger ahead, right? And yeah, yeah, you don't sugarcoat it because here's the thing too is like the point of human design is not so that it resonates with everyone. The point of human design is to show us where we're out of resonance with ourselves. I like how unbiased human design is. I like cut through the BS. Exactly. Yeah, it's like human design is like my sharp scalpel knife that, you know, heats up. When you make it fluffy, when you make it soft, or when you pull focus away from accountability, and I think a lot of new age things have pulled a lot of focus away from accountability, and it's a bummer. And I mean, even like this system here is you know, these symbols are from astrology, these numbers are from the I Ching, these channels are from the Kabbalah. So human design itself is a uh, combination or a synthesis or an iteration or an evolution of ancient systems. And it's not necessarily one where you took what you like and you just got rid of the rest. To me, it seems like so much has been incorporated into this, especially the things that are, again, a little bit more triggering. So true. The parts don't need to resonate at first, maybe my lesson, right? Which is, human design teaches us a lot about what's called internal authority. Sadie, I was thinking about writing a book last night. Why are you up in my brain? I have not written a book, but I'm pretty sure I need to soon because I have a lot of notes and stuff. I'm new to human design and I really want to understand it. Not sure where to start. Phone calls needed. We'll be back. We'll be here for the next hour. Um, yeah, I think I need to. So for the new people in human design, first thing you need is your body. You can generate one on my website, reikimarco.com. Or you can get this app. The link for that is also on my website. Second thing you need to do is figure out what your strategy is and then start using it. And the third thing you need to start doing is figure out what your inner authority is and start using it. By starting to use it, I mean, track yourself for a month and just be like relentless. Like, oh, did I respond in that situation? Oh, did I wait for an invitation? Oh, did I tend to my emotional authority? Did I listen to my intuition, my splenic hit, right? Did I soundboard with one of my trusted friends? Because human design will help you make decisions, but only if you use the strategies that are presented to you. A lot of people, or not a lot, but some people will not resonate with what they see in their body graph or what they read. Like, if you're someone that has been told that you need to go out and make it happen, and then suddenly you learn about human design and it's like, oh, wait for an invitation. You're like, well, I don't resonate with that. I don't do that. Okay. And how does that go for you? So that's that. How am I supposed to live, laugh, love in this world as a manifester? Find your pasture. part of being a manifester is recognizing that, while your type is the one that has that like initially built the world, and not in the sense of built the world, but initiated the building of the world. Now the projectors are sort of taking over in terms of leaders and being the guides. And so for manifestors, it's really important to find this level of peace with, like, you've been the star for generations, and now, like, go retire and have the reward of being just like in your pasture. Thank you for the heart, Laura. Appreciate that. Go retire in your pasture. Yeah, find your pasture and then let everyone know, hey, I'm going to my pasture, so that people don't come out looking for you. But if you want people to come looking for you, let them know that you want them to come looking for you. I think that's so important as a manifester. You have a responsibility, but it's not necessarily to make other people's lives awesome. It's also to make your own life awesome. If you want people in your life, you have to tell them. And it might not be the thing that you want to do, but if you start doing it and it starts working for you, yeah. Manifesting generator is a little bit different. Manifesting generator is still here in a way to like participate in the building. Um, However, the manifesting generator is someone that, for instance, if I had a manifesting generator and a generator working in my business, I would make the manifesting generator my project manager, and I would make the generator like the either like some I would put the generator somewhere where they enjoyed doing what they were doing, like designing or driving or something like that, but something that they could do over and over again. Whereas the man gen, I would want them to be a little bit more stimulated, being able to juggle multiple balls. The manifester, I would use them in a sense of like either like marketing, like delivering a message, like telling people to like come in the door and and come shop with us or get this thing or whatever. Um, Yeah, because a lot of the times there's this idea that manifestors are tanks, and they're not tanks. If anything, the manifester is like the uh the shot at the beginning of a race, or the flag that's like giving morale to people. But the manifester is not necessarily the generator, right? The engine moving it forward. Yeah, you have to tell them. Big time. Which again, some people will be like, "Well, I don't want to be the one always putting in the effort," and especially if you're a woman manifester. That whole stereotype around like, oh, how you say, uh, let guys chase you or whatever it is. It's like, yeah, gender's cool, but auras, but subtle bodies and energies and physics and stuff. As a manifestor woman, you're gonna probably have to invite the guy or initiate contact or dates with the person that you want to be with. Because again, it's not about gender. It's about, hey, look, if you don't initiate things, you know, you're gonna be angry, basically. Anyway, yeah, my field as a manifestor say I'm great for public relations, going out and attracting clients. Yep, that makes sense. Someone told me man gens are not meant to complete anything. That is, I'm gonna call garbage on that. I don't think stuff like that is like, to me. I don't know why that would be helpful other than to bypass completing things. Like as a man gen, to say that like it's a man gen quality that they don't complete things, might be a stereotype and definitely a vulnerability of a manifesting generator, that you might be prone to not completing things. But it's not because you're meant to not complete things. It's more like you're not meant to complete everything that you do. Well, that's a better way to say it. What do you say about solo creation and the society mentality of every man for themselves? With the um Solo creation is beautiful, but I think a lot of people, like, they don't recognize when solo creation is happening. Like when you're sad and you're crying, you're creating something, right? Like you're creating a almost like a compassionate egg of emotion. Like when you're in emotional waves, and instead of like, you know, making emotional decisions and blaming people and, you know, spewing hate and just doing these like, I call them like emotionally sideways activities, like energy comes out emotionally sideways. When you're transmuting emotional energy, that's consider that solo creation. I consider that um, part of the individuation process, part of deconditioning. It's and it's an act of creativity, right? Because what you're doing is kind of like there's this churning happening inside you when you're feeling emotional. Which in human design, this is the emotional center. People with defined emotional centers will tend to have more regular and more intense emotional waves. People with undefined emotional centers will generally be more um, neutral emotionally, but they will also pick up a lot of emotional energy from other people. Now, everyone has emotions, but not everyone confronts and completes their emotional waves, right? Confronting and completing an emotional wave is literally as simple as like suspending your mind, allowing whatever tears or water that's cooking up in your body to leave your body, and then relaxing and like taking account for what had happened. So Ross said the same thing about Manny's. Just learn I'm a projector. My brain is on overload. Right. This is such a huge system. And again, my entry point with human design is like do it for 28 days and see if it works. And by see if it works, I don't mean like see if you like life better, but genuinely doing your strategy for 28 days and allowing yourself to connect with um, the sense of signature. Because, for instance, if you're a generator and you're addicted to the feeling of peace over satisfaction, which is your signature, peace is the manifestor's signature. Maybe that's why you're always initiate because you're looking for peace when you ought to be looking for satisfaction. Anyway, um, you already got him. It's just harder because we're non-sacral, so our energy is not as consistent. I've seen projectors be wonderful parents. My partner is a projector, and she is a wonderful parent. I will say that every type is going to struggle with their energy and their consistency, but for different reasons. Like a being like this might struggle with energy because they're not doing something that's actually satisfying to them. Um, a projector might struggle with energy especially as a parent, because they're not taking good enough rest for themselves. Or when they are resting, they're doing stuff like, watching TV or um, engaging on their phone, or their mind is just going wild. Um, you know, a lot of the times, and I would say this kind of as a blanket statement, for most people, for most people, the feeling of like actually resting and rejuvenating feels like boredom, and we've been conditioned as a society, especially in the West, to when we are feeling or are feeling bored, to feel guilty about that we should be doing something, that we should be productive, and unfortunately, that steals a lot of our rest time. So I just got a report from your link, but I don't know what these mean. Please help. It's going to take some time, my friend. The first thing that you need to do is read up on your strategy and authority and spend the next 28 days just like being really on top of that. Like whatever your strategy and authority is, every decision that you make, run it through your strategy and authority. Do that for 28 days. All of that other stuff that's in there will start to make sense. Okay? It's definitely, if you're like intimidated by it or overwhelmed by it, that's okay. That's super, super normal. Again, it's a whole new language, um, but it will take time. So work with your strategy and authority for the next 28 days. And as you're doing that, then you can start to, again, things will start to make sense for you. It takes repetition. It's like anything, no one is good at it right away. Give me an example of running through your strategy and authority. Strategy is respond, authority is sacral. So for you, it's example circumstances. So let's say your boss asks you to stay late one day, and you're a generator sacral authority. So in that moment, when your boss asks you, your gut is going to respond. Your gut is going to be like, uh-huh, I love what I do, or uh-huh, I definitely like me, so I'm going to do this. Or it'll be like, ew, or it's like, I'm not really sure. Okay. So there's like the really positive, like, I want to do it. There's the falling out, and then there's the in between. Whatever your gut responds with, running like spending a month using your strategy and authority for a sacral generator would look like responding with that to your boss, right? So if it's like just be like, it's like an right? But it's an answer as well. So if your boss asks you if you want to stay late and you're like, just be like, uh. And then they might push a little bit more and be like, oh, but we really need you to stay late. And it's like, like I'd stay late, but can you pay me overtime? And they're like, oh, yeah, we can pay you overtime. And you're like, okay. Right. So it's less about being up in your head and making the right decision. And it's more about considering if you have energy to do the thing. Right. Deanne, go ahead and send me a DM. I'll handle your report. It might be your card. Sometimes the cards don't actually get charged, and so that would be a reason why you won't get your report. But I'll help you out. Make sure you DM me. Bonus waffles for a splenic projector. Splenic authority is all about like that, like first intuition. So if your boss asks you to work late and your first intuition is like, no, you need to get home and take care of yourself, that should be your answer. I'm sorry, I can't stay late. I have to go home and take care of myself. Right. So it's really just about, again, being more considerate of your inner authority. This is what human design does. It helps you be more considerate of your inner authority and gives you a simple, again, way to interact. All right. So how would sacral authority differ from solar plexus? So sacral authority is the It's the sacral, right? It's right here. It's follow that. Solar plexus authority is like emotions. So when you have emotional waves, basically your sacral is not going to work. So even for people with undefined solar plexus, when you're in the emotional wave, probably don't make decisions. But anybody that's in emotional energy, it's best not to make decisions because that's not what emotional energy is used for. It's not used for making decisions, at least in the moment. It churns you so that you can get clear about something, then go into it. So for instance, the generator with emotional authority, right? You might be how you say really, really excited for a trip, right? And your gut is like, let's go to this trip. This is gonna be awesome. And then you find out, that somebody on the trip like slept with your boyfriend or something like that. The emotional authority tends to either be like fight or flight. So when you get this news, you're like, fight. I'm going to go to this trip and I'm going to confront my friend or my boyfriend or whatever. Flight. I'm not going to go to the trip and I'm how you say, going to avoid this situation that my friends are never going to see me again. The middle path and the way, yeah, these are, I don't know what these scenarios are. I'm just throwing. If you guys want to throw some scenarios at me, I'm all more than welcome to do that. But the best way to handle that emotional wave really would be to, in my opinion, this is the counsel that I would give, is like go into the wave by yourself. Like don't go on the trip and try and confront your friend. Don't disappear and ghost everyone. Let the trip happen. Don't go. Be in your emotional wave about it. Reach the point of clarity and realize, okay, I don't want to be friends with these people anymore, or I'm going to lower my standard for the quality of interactions and trust that I have with my friends. Those are your two options. You either uphold your standard, say, this is actually not good for me. These people are not good for me. This friend is not a good friend for me. I'm going to, now that I've moved through all like the heaviness of it, now I'm clear, I'm going to make that decision. So you basically move through the emotional wave first, and then you access your gut. Is the gut always right? Because mostly mine tells me to do wild things. So when you have a defined gut like this, again, you can still be how you say, your gut can be distorted by the emotional wave. But generally speaking, even if your gut tells you to like do something that is like ridiculous or wild, one thing that you have to consider is like what is the value of a life? What is especially if you have this channel right here, this 2838, because sometimes the most important things in life are learning from your wild experiences, right? So strategy to respond is it's just the uh-huhs and uh-uhs, right? So if someone at, let's say you're drinking coffee at a coffee shop and someone walks up and starts to bug you, right? Responding would be going like uh uh-uh 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 uh-uh, you can go. Like that's a response, right? And it's much more simple than, and I know I'm not like advocating for people to be rude to each other. I'm advocating for people to be honest with each other. And some people need to be rude because that's how they honestly feel. And so much of someone's life could just be them trying to be polite, and then they never get to live their life, and it sucks. I like it, but I'm afraid to appear too selfish. I get it. I get it. And if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of other people. And what may actually be selfish is you putting on this show for everybody so that you don't have to take accountability for taking care of yourself to a degree, which might mean cutting off some people that you feel like they don't deserve your energy. And again, human design is very cold. It's very cutting. Um, we're looking to get down to like the truth of our conditioning, right? Because we're alive because we watched other people do things and we've adopted some of those things and we use them in our lives, and sometimes they work. And so we keep using them. But eventually we realize, oh, we find a system like human design that says maybe experiment with this. And we find out there's a better way. 3-5. I'm a 3-5. It's the ultimate fuck around and find out. I figured it out, but I broke it 100 times. The martyr heretic. To me, functionality is gold. I'm on the raw chain. Put it into the schools straight up. No birth certificate, just body graph. I love it. How do I find the authority? So if you have the app or if you go on my website, um, it should show it either further down on the app or like right there on my website. All five of us have individual energy. We are two projectors, two man-gen, and one generator. So one thing that's really cool about this app in particular is there's a feature called Penta, which you can take 5 people, up to 5 groups of 3 to 5 people, and you can put their charts together, and you can see where there's going to be um, gaps in the unit. Right, the Penta stuff is so cool, and again, another layer of brilliance with human design. There is we're really just scratching the surface with human design and what human design is making available for us. Um, and it's wild. Like we're still living at like it's not in the schools yet. You know, is anxiety related to the sacral channel? So anxiety is more related up here in the ajna. But if you're the type of person that, for instance, if you have the sacral center defined, but you always make your decisions from your head, you're gonna have a lot of anxiety because what's happening is you're supposed to be guided by this, but you're using this to navigate. Yes, I've done that. Me and my partner tried to discipline, but we have none of Families are really interesting, and this is another thing too, as well as like, for me, human design really opens up conversations for and for reflection, right? And part of what I do as a reflector, and part of the offerings that I give as a, I read charts, I read pentas, I read composites, part of what I do professionally. And you know the nuances of human design really can only go so deep, which is where you want to have somebody who understands the system. Like, human design is like a second language to me because I've been studying it for 9 years. um it's like a second language to me now, and so I'm able to, again, digest, go backwards and forwards from like human design language into English, and be able to really, like, for instance, this thing you're talking about with your, the discipline, however it is you've decided in your mind that things need to be, having somebody else like a coach to show you a different way. What I like to say is that, and give you a better timeline as well, what I like to say is that anything can happen in a year and a half. You can be addicted to any kind of drug, and in a year and a half you can be clean and on a steady track to like never doing those drugs again. What it takes is the awareness of like the patience of how long it's going to take, and then it takes this one fucking degree, 1 or 2 degrees of shift in the moment. That's it. It's not some huge like quantum leap thing. It's just like, oh, instead of not caring about my internal authority, I'm going to care about my internal authority, and I'm going to do that for a year and a half. What people want is, I'm going to do the full 360, and in a month, my life is going to be perfect. That doesn't work. That's just not how it works. Even if you're doing all kinds of like plant medicines and melting your brain with mushrooms and stuff, it's not enough. You have to get it into the physical body. And again, the only way to do that is through practice. That's it. So see, we're at 11K. I'm feeling like I want to end this live early. I have to move some farm animals today, so um, I think I'm gonna end this live early, guys. This has been wonderful. Much smaller, much intimate, much more intimate than the past few lives. We're gonna be going again live tomorrow around the same time. Hopefully, I might go canoe. We'll see. Oh, no, I have sessions. We'll see. But hopefully, we'll see you guys next week. If not tomorrow, we do this Monday through Thursday, and after next week, I'll have finished my 28-day cycle, my reflector thing, and we'll reassess and see if we change the times or whatever. But just part of like my strategy in real time. If I'm going to do something, do it for 28 days or test it out for 28 days and see if it's something that I want to do again. So far, the lives have been awesome. Finish the book. I will definitely work on that. Thank you. I appreciate it. So much love to you guys. Appreciate you. Again, if you're not following, make sure you follow. Turn the notifications on for live. We're doing it Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Hawaii time. If you need reports, if you want sessions, if you want the app, all of that is available via the link in my bio, or you can just go to reikimarco.com, my website. Everything is available for you there. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.